And I'm going to present screen to make sure that and y'all do realize that when I do teach up here, everything is backwards from my house, so, and not the same technical wise, it's not the same. So I want you to write down the following problem. You should be able to see it. We're only going to work on this problem. That's all we're going to do today is work on this problem, because it is all about z-scores. And that is the remaining section, which is, what is it, 5.3 or 3.5? What is it, 3.5? When do you use z-scores? You use z-scores when you're comparing apples to oranges. So you might want to write that down. When comparing apples to oranges, you use z-scores. Now, while you are talking, while you are writing this down, I want to mention something that I'm mentioning in all of my classes. Okay? All of my classes. So that means I'm not picking on y'all. All of my classes. I did it this morning in the 9 o'clock class, and I'm doing it now. I'm going to do it tomorrow with the Tuesday, Thursday classes. What's coming up soon?
An exam.
And the homework is going to be due. And guess what? There's about 5 or 6 of y'all that haven't even started your homework. I'm talking chapter 1. Chapter 1. We're on chapter 3. I will not extend. I'm not going to extend. Why? Because y'all have had 4 weeks to at least do 2 sections. It's nothing but based on what? What is the first 2 sections based on? First 2 chapters. Reading. Now, there is a little bit of math in 2.2. I do realize that. But we went through it. Everybody should be through chapter 1 and chapter 2. Don't come to me with 5 dead grandmothers, the house fell in, you know, the dog died, the cat's sick. I'm not going to listen to it. I'm going to go ahead and tell you that right now. Out of how many in here? There's about 23 in this class. 5 people have not even started on chapter 1. So I'm just going to go ahead and tell you, like I told the last class, and I'm going to tell tomorrow, the calculus class and my other 120s. I'm not going to extend the homework. So those people that haven't started on chapter 1, those are who I'm talking to. I'm sorry. If you don't get it done, don't even email me saying that you forgot what day it was and that you forgot when it was due and the dog ate your calendar and you had 5 flat tires and 3 dead grandmothers. I don't want to hear it. All right. Got that done. Now, I'm going to try to write with this thing, but as y'all will see in the classroom here, it will be not oriented. Now, I want everybody to write down this formula. This is about the second formula that y'all have to memorize. Z. This is actually very difficult to do. Is equal to x minus x bar over standard deviation. Or, if you're working with population parameters, x minus mu over standard deviation. Now you notice when it's in the center right here, it's close. But as you move over, it gets further and further away from, I'm showing this to the class because you can't see it at home, but anyway. There's your two formulas. Now, it doesn't matter which one you use because they're the same thing. One is for the population that has the Greek letters that I showed you back in chapter 1 that you should have wrote in your notes because it's in my notes. And the regular letters, X bar, is for the statistic. That's the sample statistic, lowercase statistic, which means variables used for the sample. Variables used for the population are Greek letters. Okay? And I'm getting a lot of questions over things that I've covered in the notes. Okay? This is no joke. I had somebody ask me how to get to the YouTube videos. Somebody emailed me this morning or yesterday and asked me how to get to the YouTube videos. Did I reply? No. Why? Where do you find how to get to the YouTube videos? The two handouts that I sent you that says YouTube videos. I'm sorry. I think that that email got me really irritated. All right. This is so annoying. Let me ask you a question. What is the prerequisites for being President of the United States? Or the requirement?
35 years old.
35 years old? What else?
Natural-born citizen.
I'm sorry, what?
Natural-born citizen.
Natural-born citizen? Is there any requirement for height? Who was the smallest president? Who was the shortest president? James Madison. He was 5'5". Some of y'all are I think he was 5'4".
I'm 5'4".
Okay. Then you and him are the same height. Or 5'5". You have to, somebody Google it. Look up the tallest president right quick and see if it's still it's still Lincoln. Somebody Google it right quick, because I think Obama, I think either Obama or Trump was pretty tall too, but I don't think they're taller than, and they picked LBJ. I don't know, I guess they picked LBJ because I don't know when this question was written, but it had to be written after Shaquille O'Neal was drafted into the NBA.
So Abraham Lincoln, then LBJ, and then Donald Trump.
So LBJ was second.
Exactly.
Wow, I didn't know he was second. And then Donald Trump. Where's Obama? How tall is Obama? Because I know the Bushes aren't nowhere in there.
Obama is actually 10th on the list.
10th.
Bush is actually 6 foot. Yeah, Bush was like.
Bush is actually, which one? W or?
W.
Okay, W. That's interesting. I had no idea that LBJ was the second tallest president in history. I had no idea. I just knew this question was written, and I think they meant modern day, and it was before Trump, so he would still be the tallest next to Lincoln. So anyway, the whole point is, what's the prerequisite to being a basketball player? Now remember, before you answer, Spud Webb was 5'5". And if you don't know who Spud Webb was, he played with Michael Jordan at the University of North Carolina, and they both got drafted into the NBA, and he could dunk at 5'5". So.
He actually was 5'7".
Oh, I thought he was 5'5". Well, there was one that was 5'5" that could actually dunk. I don't know who he was, but anyway, I think there was. You have to look it up. Look up the shortest player in the NBA. All right.
Spud Webb was 5'7".
Spud Webb was 5'7". Miss Dennis said that, so y'all confirm that. Okay, I was wrong. 5'7". Now, is that a prerequisite to being in the NBA? No. But it is a what? It's not a prerequisite. It's not a requirement, but it's a what? Advantage. Exactly. That's why the basketball coach comes and talks to you when you're second grade and you're 6 foot tall. Okay? They sure don't care about you, being A's and B's. They want you to play basketball. If you're 6 foot tall in the second and third grade, they want you to play basketball. That is now, is there any advantage in being tall for President of the United States? Not really, even though the Bush that was a joke, what's his name? What was his name?
The second.
Jibby, little Jibby. Did y'all ever see when he was running for president in the photo where he was standing on his tiptoes? Y'all have to look that one up. There was a photo op of all the Republican nominees, and Jibby was standing on his tiptoes. Why was he standing on his tiptoes? Because he thought to himself, his 2% self, that being taller would have an advantage to him winning the Republican nomination. So he stood on his tiptoes in the photo op. Okay? Somebody, I bet y'all didn't know that, but he did, and he still got his butt whooped. Anyway, the whole point is there's no advantage. Now, some of you may say, well, it's an advantage if you're meeting with leaders and you're taller. I don't know if that's an advantage or intimidation. Okay? But some of you may argue that. What about FDR? How tall is FDR? Well, FDR was in a wheelchair half of his term. Well, it was 3 terms. Okay? Was it Truman or FDR that had 3 terms? I can't remember.
FDR had 4 terms.
Okay, 4 terms, that's it. So he was up there like for a whole decade or whatever. He was up there for like 100 years. And half the time he was, however tall he was, well, what about when you're in a wheelchair? Does that mean you're not as tall? So what I'm trying to get at is Shaq a little fish in a big pond? Or is LBJ a big fish in a little pond? Well, I just told you. Shaq is a little fish in a big pond. Why? Because mostly everybody in the NBA is what? Tall. Well, why is LBJ a big fish in a little pond? Because he's tall, and a requirement to be President of the United States is not height. So he's a big fish in a little pond. Relativity. What's relativity? Relativity is you can sit in this class and it seems like 3 hours. You sit in a movie theater and it seems like 30 minutes. That's the best explanation. That's the best explanation for relativity. Relativity means what it means to you or what it means to your population. What's the 2 populations here? Somebody name the populations, the real 2 easy populations. What are they?
The presidents and the basketball.
The presidents and the basketball players. All right? Now, who is relatively taller compared to their population? All right. So let's write down our information. Now, this is what you need to do when you do a Z-score problem. You need to write down your information and plug and chug. So for LBJ, and this is so aggravating, trying to write on this thing. I'm trying to find X is equal to 75. X bar for presidents is 71.5. Y'all think y'all could write like this? And standard deviation is equal to 2.1. Anybody want to try it?
Yeah.
No. If you come up here and break your wrist, then I'll be liable. Okay. All right, so let's do it for Shaq. Next to Michael Jordan, he's my favorite. You know why? Shaq has a sense of humor. Y'all ever listen to an interview with Shaq? He actually has a sense of humor more than Michael Jordan does. Michael Jordan has a sense of humor, but Shaq has even more of a sense of humor. Shaq's crazy. He's on even one of the wrestling shows. One of the wrestlers, He's getting into that. And I was watching NASCAR, and there's 3 or 4 NBA players that are actually sponsoring race cars now. Michael Jordan's one of them. I didn't know that. All right, X is equal to, how tall is Shaq? 83? 85. And X bar for basketball players in the NBA? I'm trying to find it. 80. Last sentence. And the standard deviation for basketball players is what? All right, now, what do? Plug and what? Plug and chug, Hubert. It's y'all's parents' fault. Parents don't teach y'all anything. What does plug and chug mean? Plug the numbers in and do what? Chug out the arithmetic. Now, I'm not going to show y'all how to do that because all of you should be able to plug in those numbers and punch them in your calculator. X minus X bar over standard deviation.
So 160 minus.
What is X? With LBJ, what is X? 75 minus what?
85.
71.5 divided by 2.1. That's the Z-score for LBJ. And then you need to find the Z-score for Shaq. You got to do 2 calculations.
Five. 8.3 divided by 5.
So if this pen will let me write this over in the margin, I think very difficult. So I'll be off the margin. 75 minus 71.5 divided by 2.1. Can somebody give me that Z-score? I'm sorry, what?
1.6 repeat.
1.67. So that, well, y'all see it. That is the Z-score for LBJ. Shaq is going to be 85 minus 80 over 3.3, and I need somebody to give me that Z-score. 1.51. 515. Okay? 85 minus 80 divided by 3.3. Do those two numbers, does everybody confirm those two numbers? 1.67 and 1.515. Is that correct?
Yes, yeah.
Okay? Now plot those two. What do you mean plot them? Well, with the Z-scores, remember how I told you that you put the mean in the middle and you add to the right and you subtract from the left? Well, you don't do that with a Z-score table. You just put 0 for the mean, and then you put 1, 2, 3, and -1, -2, -3, 4. So I'm going to take my highlighter and I'm going to highlight everything. Remember I told you to draw what? To copy this on a piece of paper and what? Color it? Because I know 1 or 2 of y'all did it. Notice I said 1 or 2 of y'all, and there's like 23 in the class. I got how many in this class right here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1 or 2 of y'all already did this. Anybody?
I did.
You did? 2 people. See? All right, so normal fits between what? Between -2 and 2. So let me go ahead, and this is the empirical rule. Thing I told you to remember, thing I told you to draw this in your notebook, and I told you to make pictures and have it for the test. 95% is going to fall between -2 and +2. And then I took the yellow highlighter. And what does the yellow highlighter represent? What's right outside of the green? Unusual. Good. So you're the one that listened that day. Sorry, my U is a little bit off on that side. Again, my pen is not writing where it's supposed to. All right, and then the red. And y'all all know what the red stands for. What does the red stand for? Starts with O.
Outliers.
Outliers. So let me ask you a question. If you were comparing two numbers, which one would be the most ER? What do I mean, Hubert? Most ER. M-O-S-T quotation ER. Well, what is this question asking? Who is relatively what? Tall what? ER. Who's relatively taller? ER. So let's plot them. First one is Shaq. Shaq is 1.5. 1.5 is right here. So Shaq is right here. I'm sorry, I can't even spell Shaq with his pens. There. Shaq is 1.5. Where is LBJ? LBJ is right there, 1.67. Who is relatively taller? LBJ, because he's further out toward the outlier. Write that down. LBJ is relatively taller because he is closer to the what? The red area, the outliers. If you're closer to the outlier than another score, that means you're more ER than the other score. Taller, wider, faster, shorter, whatever the case may be. Well, shorter would be the most inside because it depends on what, if it's asking for the positive ER or the negative ER. Shorter would be towards 0. Okay? Now that's how you do Z-scores. Now that's the first thing how you do Z-scores. What else do you do with Z-scores? Well, you look up stuff. Okay? And they do that in chapter 7. We're going to do that in chapter 7. So let's go and look at, and the reason I start with this slide is because everybody can understand the president versus a basketball player. Okay? And relatively taller means compared to your own population. Does everybody understand that? Because like I said, anybody with 2 teeth in their head will tell you that who is taller, LBJ or Shaq? Shaq. But if you throw the word relatively in there, that means compared to your own population. Okay, now I want to make sure everybody understands. Does everybody have the Z-score formula? Because I'm going to treat you just like I did with the formula for variance. Okay, I'm going to treat you, the first thing I'm going to say, when you ask me how to find the Z-score, I'm going to ask you, what's the formula? And you know what most of y'all are going to say? Well, hold on, let me look at my notes. You got to know the formula. Now, I'm going to go back and visit our standard deviation and variance because I got a surprise for y'all. I want everybody to get your calculators out. Everybody get your calculators out. I'm gonna wait because as soon as I start, there's gonna be one person, hold on, I just now got my calculator out. So everybody get your calculator out. Okay, let me just go down the list. Miss Deese, do you have your calculator?
I
Okay.
do.
Okay, I'm gonna pick Mr. Michelle. Mr. Michelle, do you have your calculator out?
Yes, sir.
Miss Yoakum, do you have your calculator out?
Yes.
Okay, I picked the beginning, the middle, and the end. That's what I did. All right, so here we go. I want you to hit second, 0. Second, 0. Everybody there? Arrow down till you get to diagnostic. If you don't have a calculator, write this down, because when you do get a calculator, get to diagnostic. Second, 0, and then go to diagnostic on. Put the arrow beside diagnostic on and hit enter and enter. Now, what does diagnostic on? It enables your screen to show everything it can show you in one screen. Okay, that's the easiest way to explain it. So with diagnostic on, everybody should be able to see what I'm fixing to show you. So I want you to go to Stat and Edit. Hit Enter when it's on Edit right there. And I want you to type in these numbers. 21, 22. Let me just pull them up right here. There they are. Pull up those numbers. 21, 22, 22, 22, 23, 25, 27, 27, 28, 29, 30, and 32. Give you a second to type those in. Now, if your L1 is full, let me show you how to clear it. I don't want to clear it, but I'll show you how to do it. If your L1 or L2 has something in it, you arrow up to L1, hit clear, and enter. Don't hit delete. L2, clear, and delete. And that will clear the whole column. If you hit delete, you delete the whole column, and then you'll have L1 and L3, and that will drive some of you insane. Okay, some of you don't care, but some of you will not like that. All right, so there's the 12 numbers: 21, 22, 22, 22, 23, 25, 27, 27, 28, 29, 30, 32. Miss Deese, do you have yours in? Mr. Michelle, do you have yours in?
Yes, sir.
Miss Yoakum, do you have yours in?
I do.
Okay, Miss Deese, do you have yours in?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm using y'all because y'all are at the beginning. Oh, I didn't see Miss Bash. I didn't see her. I'm sorry, Miss Bash, I should have asked you. Miss Bash, do you have yours in? I didn't see Miss Bash. All right. All right, now this is a trick I learned in the war. Y'all watch. Stat. Calculate. First variable what? Stat. And then go down to calculate. And look at there. Mean, 25.66. X bar, 25.66. I need you to draw this screen in your notes so you can find what you need. Because after today, I'm not going to tell you. X bar is 25.66. X bar is your mean. SX. Now, I would do a word association with SX, but since a lot of people don't have, a sense of humor, I don't do it anymore. So SX is your standard deviation. Look over here. What's my standard deviation with the spreadsheet? 3.676. What's my SX? 3.676. Now, scroll down, and guess what it gives you? Somebody tell me what it gives you. 5-number what? 5-number summary. Ain't that neat? Now, do y'all appreciate the calculator?
What did you hit to get the 5-number summary?
You just go down, just scroll down.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Now, if you have diagnostic off, or if you have a calculator that's old, it might not show you the 5-number summary. Then you either have to decide, either download a newer calculator on your phone, or go buy a newer calculator, steal one, or beat up your son or daughter for one, or whatever. Okay? I won't let my kids have a calculator, so they were forbidden to have a calculator. I'm kidding. It's a joke. People need a sense of humor. All right, who's got a question? Now, y'all see the red blocks right here?
Mm-hmm.
What do those
Yes.
red blocks mean? Those are the 4 things that are not on your calculator. And the homework and the test questions, they usually put those with these. So therefore, you're still having to use what? Your brain and your hands to get these 4 right here. You see what I'm saying? A test question or a homework question might ask you the mean and the mode. They may ask you the mid-range and the variance. Oh, the variance is not on there. Well, yeah, it is. Do you want me to show you how to find the variance on your calculator? Yes. Well, what's the relationship between variance and what? Standard deviation. The square root of the variance is the standard deviation. Standard deviation squared is the variance. So take SX, write this down, SX, parentheses, to the 2nd power is equal to the variance. Now I want everybody to take your 8-digit SX, 3.676295896, and raise it. I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to do it with y'all. I'm going to copy it off of here. 6762959, caret symbol, which is above the division symbol. That's a caret symbol, and it's not what your teacher, house top. Don't you dare walk into my math class and call that a house top. It's a caret symbol, K-A-R-E-T, caret symbol. Raised to the 2nd power, and there's your variance, 13.51. Look at there, 13.51. Take the square root of that, raise it to the 0.5, and you're back to the standard deviation. So you need to write that down because they will ask you that on a TEAS test, Miss Dennis. They're going to ask you that. They will give you a problem and they'll say, the variance of the blah, 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 blah is equal to 13.51. What is the standard deviation? Or they will say the standard deviation for the blah, 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 blah is 3.67. What is the variance? So you might want to, if you're going to take the TEAS test, you might want to write that question down because it's going to be on there.
Okay, say it again.
They will give you a number and they'll say the variance is equal to 13.51. I'm using the 2 numbers on the spreadsheet. Find the standard deviation. And then they'll say the standard deviation is equal to 3.6762, blah, 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 blah. What is the variance? And all they want you to do is what we just did on the calculator.
Okay. But we don't have a calculator like that in the TEAS test.
You should be able to, you can take the square root by raising it to the 0.5. All calculators on standardized tests are legitimate scientific calculators. They just are not graphing calculators.
Oh,
Usually the TI-30X is what a lot of students use, or a lot of standardized tests use, or something like the TI-30, where it's a basic scientific calculator. The kind you used to use before graphing calculators came along. All right, so I'm going to give you another problem, and I want y'all to put it in your calculators. And we got to hurry because some of y'all are going to self-combust. All right, here we go. We're going to do odd this time. 25, 26, 28, 29, 30, 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, 40, and 42. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and 45. That's 13. All right, you got 3 minutes, because we got to get out of here in 3 minutes, because some of y'all, like I said, will self-combust. No coughing in class. No coughing, yawning, or sneezing. No sighing either. Oh, me. Miss Bash, I think, is sick. Oh. Okay, that's why she's not here. Oh, my Lord. I took a video of a guy that's rigged a shopping cart up to his bicycle. Only in LA. At least he's trying. I hope he's doing something. I hope he's not carrying drugs in the buggy. I'm sorry, shopping cart. You're not supposed to call it a buggy. It's a shopping cart. All right, here we go. We're going to type them in. If y'all haven't noticed, I'm giving y'all a way to find all this information, and you don't have to use a lot of resources. Notice I said resources. I'm not going to say what I'm actually saying, but resources. Here we go. Stat. Edit. And 25. 26. This is so frustrating with a mouse. 28. 29. I ain't even gonna try to use my finger on the board when I can't even get the stylus to work. 29, 30, 33, 35, 36, 37, 38, y'all make sure I'm not messing up, 40, 42, and 45. Now, Miss Dennis, the TI-30 will do statistical, they do have several, there's 3 or 4 buttons up here that you can actually find the mean and the standard deviation after you type them in. And you type them in with commas. Like, you go up to the top, and instead of typing them in this, you would type 25, 26, 28, 29. And then when you get through, you hit a button like second, I think it's one of these buttons in here, and it'll say mean or standard deviation or something like that. Now, I don't know which ones do that, but I know there's calculators out there that are used on standardized tests that you can find the mean and the standard deviation by just a button. I don't know if they let them use it, but there are those that have that. All right, so I'm going to hit stat, calculate, first variable statistic, enter. It will automatically read L1, but if you need to change it to L2, you hit second and look above the 2 and 3, the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look above that and you'll see the different L1 and L2s. But I just put all my numbers in L1 and I never change it. And calculate. And there is your mean. Your mean is 34.154. Your SX is 6.28. I need somebody to take 6.283 and raise it to the second power. And give me that number. What is that number? What is 6.283 raised to the second power? Nobody's going to say a word.
Is it 39.48?
Is somebody confirm that?
Yeah.
Okay, there it is. So there's your variance. Now scroll down. And there's your 5-number summary. 25, 28.5, 35, 39, and 45. So all you have to find now is the what? The median, the mode, the range, and the mid-range. Now, I'm sorry, if you can't find the median, the mode, the range, and the mid-range, three of those are real easy. One of them, you don't even have to calculate, you just look at it. Let's see, what's the mode? I don't see a mode. Let's see this one. Hold on. Stat, edit. I'm looking for a mode. I don't see one. Can somebody tell me if there's anything that is showing up the most?
There is one.
I'm sorry, what?
I don't see one.
Okay, so you would put none. You would put non-applicable. It does not exist. There ain't there. One of those 4 or 5 word phrases. Do not put 0, because you'll always have a smart aleck teacher that'll put a big X through 0, and you know what they'll put beside it? 0 is not even in the population, or 0 is not even in the sample. Okay? Even though I know what you mean, don't put 0 for, unless it does show up, but you're not going to see many data tables with zeros in them. Okay? All right, what do you feel? Okay, now listen closely and listen hard. It looks like to me we're going to finish up Wednesday. So you need to send your chapter 3 questions Wednesday. You should be only sending 3.5. I think we just covered 3.5. All right? That's the only questions that should be sent. We may have some questions because I didn't look at the questions today for homework. But Wednesday will be a homework question day. Everybody got that? So that means that probably Friday will be review test. So that means chances are if I do a Friday review test, when do you think the homework's going to be due?
Monday.
That Monday. There you go. You getting it? All right, so looks like right now, tentatively, y'all all know what tentative means, don't you? Tentatively, looks like y'all may be having a test Monday, if no later than Wednesday. All right, y'all get out of here and have a good day.
Thank you.
All right, be good.
Thank you,
Have a
everyone.
great
See
day.
y'all. Have a good day, all you people in virtual classroom land. Y'all be good.